Oh my gosh, I've had surgery. I finally had my laparoscopy. Let's talk about it. Hey friends, if you're new here, my name is Katharine Quinn. I am a 30-something living in New York City, recently ovarian cyst free, and in normal daily life, I work on Broadway, which is super fun, but not why you're here. I recently had a laparoscopic surgery to remove cysts, fibroids, and endometriosis. This is the second video in a two-part series. If you want to see my discovery, my symptoms, how I learned what was going on, click this video up here. But this is going to talk about surgery, tips and tricks that I have, things that I wish I had known, so let's get into it. Long story short, to sort of recap the previous video, I had been dealing with abdominal pain consistently for months. At first I thought it was gastrointestinal. A CT scan revealed that it was likely a cyst in my ovary. I then had an ultrasound. They said, you don't have just one cyst, you've got one racquetball sized cyst on your left ovary, two smaller cysts on your right ovary, maybe a fibroid, let's check it out. Met with multiple OBGYNs, found one in network who is wonderful. If you're in New York, I absolutely have a recommendation. She was truly fantastic. She basically said, your options are to either take medication and see if somehow they're going to shrink your cysts, or if you are in pain, you can have surgery. She also mentioned if you are interested in getting pregnant, that it's a different story. Let's go ahead and remove the cysts to help with that process. I am not looking to get pregnant. So for me, it was just, I was in pain every single day. And she was like, we could wait a few months, have you take medication, see if it makes anything better, and then decide if we need to do surgery. But honestly, by the time I had seen her, it had already been 4 months of pain and I was ready for a solution. Plus, I had done a lot of reading, yes, on Google and Reddit, which was honestly incredibly helpful. First-hand accounts from other people, which is something that I offer to you, is Reddit was actually such a source of comfort for me in general. Yes, you're gonna read some horror stories on there, but by and large, it's a lot of like first-hand accounts and wonderful recommendations that I got from people. But at any rate, I knew from my research that if it was indeed an endometrial cyst, which we didn't officially know at that time, we just suspected, because this was my first laparoscopy, that they don't shrink on their own and surgical removal is the only way to get rid of it. And so I was like, nope, let's get a surgery on the books, let's do it. Well, my first surgery got botched because I got food poisoning literally 10 hours before my scheduled admission time. And I called the hospital literally here on the floor of my apartment and I was like, hi, I'm dehydrated and I really want some Pedialyte, but I'm fasting and not drinking water before surgery. Can I still have surgery today? I have food poisoning. And they were like, lols, let's call your doctor. Called the doctor and the doctor said, no, we're rescheduling your surgery. So postponed it a month, then had surgery. From a mental health perspective, here's what I would like to say. You do you and do what is best for you. Heading into surgery around 1, before the food poisoning debacle, I let myself feel the bigness of this, really treating it like a surgery, really like prepping myself for the breadth of what this could turn out to be. I made myself an anxious wreck, okay? Round 2, my doctor was like, girl, we are prescribing you Xanax. She talked to the anesthesiologist. The anesthesiologist was like, absolutely, you could take Xanax the 2 nights before bed before your surgery. This was a game changer for me in my severe anxiety. I just want to offer that as a potential comfort to you. Also, I requested to have the earliest possible time for surgery. I was not lucky round 1. My admission time was 11 a.m. I was very lucky round 2. My admission time was 7 a.m. And so I think that made a world of difference for round 2. Round 2, I was like, okay, we played the anxiety game and let myself feel the bigness, and that was not good. This time I was like, okay, we're gonna downplay. We're gonna create a vocabulary to like just, this is a doctor. Worrying is praying for bad things to happen. It wasn't a surgery, it was a procedure, or better yet, an office nap. I'm going to the office and I'm just gonna take a little nap. All I'm saying here is different things are gonna work for you. For me, honoring the bigness of it was not useful. Treating it as a procedure that was in excellent hands and like honestly thinking about it as little as humanly possible than just going in for the procedure, letting go and letting God was great. It's a turn of phrase. Here's some excellent news for you. Every single procedure is totally different. My recovery was a breeze. Let's talk about what I wore. I wore in like a super comfy, super baggy, like black jumpsuit, knit jumpsuit. Highly recommend. It was fantastic. 10 out of 10 recommend. Great choice. Went in for surgery, kept my spirits up. We were super, super tired. My wonderful partner came with me. Went in, I remember the deep breaths of the oxygen mask, and then woke up later and I literally couldn't even tell you where I woke up. It's one of those things where it's like day of, you're cognizant of what's happening, but it's now been 2 weeks and like I have no idea. Where did I wake up? What was I doing? Was my partner there yet? I don't know. Let's see. Things that I do remember. They want you to walk almost immediately, and they want you to pee a ton after surgery, which is impossible after you have been fasting and not drinking any liquids. So I did what I called puttering. So I would putter. I would shuffle like an 80-year-old woman, like this. You can't see my feet, but they're like shuffling like this. I would just putter. When you first wake up from surgery, someone said, take a stool softener, not Miralax, not any of that. I took a stool softener. I had cough drops because after intubation, your throat is sore. Sorry to scare you, but it just is the way it is. So I had chloroseptic thing. I also had heard that gum can weirdly help with gas and waking up your body. I don't know if that's true, but I tried it and it worked very nicely. You've likely heard that gas pain is the worst part of recovery, and that is in fact true. We're gonna get to that. The walks, the putter, it also helps with the gas. But peeing was my biggest challenge. My body was just like, no, I'm going to go back to sleep. Thank you so much. TMI, sorry, but I peed like 2 drops and I was like, yes. And I showed it to the nurse and she was like, no, you need to get it up to the 100. And I was like, when again, tiny amount of pee. And she was like, nope, that was like 5 drops. You need to get it to this line. Livid. Drink as many fluids as you think you can have. I also know that I get nauseous coming out from anesthesia historically, and so I told the anesthesiologist that going in. They gave me anti-nausea and Zofran. I had absolutely no problem with it. I wish I had had more liquids earlier, like coming out of surgery. If you have a partner with you, baby, tell them to get you on that stool softener. Take a gas X. Even if your doctor says it doesn't help, just give an A for effort. Make sure you've got heating packs with you. That was something immediately that I had on my abdomen. It was sore. Like, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I woke up and I was like, I'm fine, but like, it wasn't that bad. I mean, they shoot you up with all sorts of magical painkillers. They give you all sorts of stuff through your IVs, but I waited to take any pain medication until after the car ride home. So anyway, finally, I had a 7 a.m. admission time and this was 7 p.m. at night and I was still in recovery. People had come and gone, and I just could not go pee. My understanding was there were 2 things that could have happened if I hadn't peed by 7, which is when they closed that part of the hospital down. I either would have had to stay overnight, which is a nightmare, or go home, and there was like some extra protocol that I was gonna have to do. So I was like, by George, I'm gonna pee. Went to go pee, came out, success. I literally just like, I thought about waterfalls. I did all of the tricks in the whole freaking book. I had had so many liquids at that point and I was like, body, we are not leaving this toilet until we do it because I want to go home right now. By the time I came out, my surgeon was there and she literally showed me photos of what had happened during surgery. So I learned at that time, I do have endometriosis. I have stage 4 endometriosis. I have frozen pelvis, or had frozen pelvis, which meant that all of my organs from my belly button down were literally adhered together by endometrial tissue. She removed 3 cysts, 4 fibroids. She thought there was only 1. She removed 4. My ovaries, she literally demonstrated this for me. Precious Dr. Paulina. So your ovaries are normally like, are you glad that you're watching this video right now? Your ovaries are normally like this. My ovaries were literally like this. They were on their side. One was directly pushing into, you know, the butt area, which explains some of the gastrointestinal discomfort I've been feeling for months. It was wild and I burst into tears. I will say that pain medication can make you a little bit loopy and therefore a little more emotional. But mostly, if you are watching this video and you've gone through this process, chances are you've been gaslit at some point in this journey of being like, you don't necessarily need to have surgery for this, or is the pain really that bad, or you can just take this medication, or this is your multiple laparoscopy, or whatever. And I was just so relieved that I wasn't crazy, that I was right and justified in my pain. She literally was like, you had every reason to be in pain. And it just felt so validating. So I've talked to the surgeon. I finally successfully peed and therefore I got to be discharged. We got in the car. I had, there's seatbelt protector pillows. I'll throw an image up here of the kind that I got, and you just slide them over the seatbelt and they help soften the blow a little bit from, you know, jerky movements in the car. Just have a pillow and stick it right on in there. You just don't want anything touching you. Those heating packs, the little like pop and break them up and shaky and whatever, that was a game changer. Like on the ride home was especially great. Once I got home, obviously I had heating pads and it was totally fine. The first 2 days are the roughest and I was on the heavy duty pain medication for those 2 days. I gave myself a total free pass. I said 2-3 days, no problem, because over and over I've read and heard, stay on top of the pain because you can wait and it will get away from you and it's too big, you can't do anything about it. So what I stayed on top of the first few days were stool softener, gas sacs extra strength, those chloroseptic lozenges for my throat, and hardcore pain medication. You putter away, it will help you so much. I just did little putters all around my apartment the night of. The next day, my doctor said, I want you to walk the length of a city block. So day 2, we went out, we walked the length of a city block, and I did my intermittent puttering. It's worth noting that a lot of folks have a lot of feelings about your first BM post-op, and again, TMI, but bodies are bodies and whatever. If you stay on that regimen, if you take your fiber gummies, if you take that stool softener round the clock like you're supposed to, it's worth noting, I did liquids only day 1, day 2. I did clear liquids day 1. I moved to only soft foods on day 2 and sort of 3. I did not have much of an appetite and I didn't push myself to eat any more than I wanted to. I also knew that the pain meds would slow down my metabolism and that the BM of it all was like gonna be a thing. So it's just like, okay, if you're not hungry, we're not gonna push ourselves to do that. The day that I ate real food, day 4, I had been like diligently doing my Pedialyte, my stool softener, my fiber gummies, everything, and that day went like normal, and the rest is history. Heating pads are a lifesaver. No one really mentioned that to me, but I just like happened to be like, okay, well, I'm feeling pain there and the heating pad is going there. Puttering, water, and heating pads, and maybe gas X saved it. Like I would start to feel that coming on. When I was sleeping, I would have a heating pad here, and I was really good to go. I was sleeping, and actually I'm still sleeping with a wedge pillow, which I highly recommend, which has you on an incline this way and a pillow underneath my leg. I'm literally still sleeping that way. It's 2 weeks out and I feel normal, which is wild. Day 3, I switched to the 600 milligram ibuprofen. I continued taking that for maybe 2 days, and then I was done with all pain medication. And I haven't needed it since. And I recognize that I am ahead of schedule. I also took arnica. I also took a supplement called Heal Fast, which I had read about on Amazon and was just like, it can't hurt. It maybe will heal fast. I don't know which of these lotions and potions helped the most. Everything I've mentioned is something I truly took and think helped. I'm telling you, my recovery process has been really remarkable. I'm 2 weeks and a day out. I will show you my incisions right now. I did 4. We're just getting to know one another. Okay, the gnarliest one is this one, which looks like kind of nothing. I was definitely swollen at first, but it's okay now. This looks like a nothing burger. I still have some glue that is left, and they were just like, don't pick at it, so I'm trying to fight the urge. There's one in my belly button, which you can't really see, and that's a-okay. And then where is it? Down here. Like, already you can barely see all of these. And this is 2 weeks post-op. Okay, here are some things I wish I'd known. I got my pathology report, which I was so nervous about, of course, from the hospital prior to talking to my doctor about it. Evidently, in the state in which I live, New York State, it is now a law that the pathology goes to the patient before it goes to the doctor, which is actually, in theory, sounds great to me. In practice, I don't know, because I don't know how to read a pathology report, and the report read exactly what was written in the hypothesis that my doctor had done pre-surgery, and so I was like, I'm not seeing any images on here, it just has that description. So is that the pre-surgery description, or was the pre-surgery description exactly right? And that's just all it is. So I messaged my wonderful doctor through the portal, and a nurse came back and was like, hey, we can't actually discuss that through the portal. We've also not been sent the pathology. We'll talk through all of the findings at your post-op. And I was like, is it bad? Is it bad? Is that everybody saying it's bad? So I literally responded like, ominous. We'll try not to get too anxious. And the wonderful nurse, Erica, who I'm sure is not watching this, but thank you, called me and she was like, hi, I really don't want you to be nervous. We just have to say that we actually don't have the pathology report yet. It's a New York State law, that blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she explained it all to me. I had my post-op on Thursday, and everything that she found in surgery is everything that we found in surgery, which is so amazing. She's like, I'm not gonna lie, like, you are definitely 2 weeks ahead of healing from what I would expect of you. Like, you're acting normal. I feel normal, which is extra remarkable because I have been in pain for almost all of 2024. I feel better than I did pre-surgery, which is ideal. It is the best possible outcome. And again, I am just so incredibly grateful. The other thing that I wish that I had known is that even though I feel fantastic, and even though people on Reddit were like, oh, my doctor said I could get back to working out after 2 weeks, but then some other people are like, 6 to 8 weeks. And it's crazy when you read, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of like reading everyone's individual experience on Reddit, is like some people went back to work after 2 weeks and were like, it was way too soon. Other people were like, I had to take off an entire month. Other people, it varies. I have felt completely fine for the last several days, like normal, not just like, oh, I'm doing really well post-op, like normal. My real challenge now, just 2 weeks out, is to not push it for the next 4. My doctor was like, here's the deal. Your incisions look incredible. You feel great. I'm thrilled. I still cut through your body. I still cut through your very strong abs. Thanks, Dr. Paulina. And they are needing to stitch back together in the places that I punctured them. She's like, you see this much of an incision on the outside. There's this much of an incision on the inside, okay? I pulled out big racquetball-sized cysts through your body, okay? If you push it, you're gonna get a hernia and you will set yourself back and it's going to cosmetically look horrible. And I was like, so I don't get to work out for the next 4 weeks, which frankly sucks because my mental health, but it's okay. It's worth it. It's worth it. And now I just get to think it's like 3 weeks and change now. It's not even 4 weeks. So overall, I'm so grateful to my surgeon. If you are anticipating having this surgery, I just want to share a very positive outcome for you. I recognize that everyone has an individual experience, but so many people told me this and I did not believe them. My pain before the experience was 10 times worse than my recovery pain. You think that because you're dealing with it every single day, it could not possibly be easier to recover from surgery than your just basic endometrial pain or your pain from your cysts. My pain from my cysts were so much worse. Even if you're like, I'm tolerating this every single day, it was worse than my recovery pain, okay? I hope that that is the case for you. If you have questions, I'm generally really good about responding to comments and I'm very, very happy to answer any anecdotal questions. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm here to share my experience because I watched a zillion of these videos going into my surgery and they were super, super helpful for me. So I hope that some of you find comfort and help in this. If you have questions, again, leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video, it always means a lot to me. If you like, comment, subscribe. It's the surest way to let the YouTube algorithm know what wonderful people to push these videos out to, people just like you. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and TikTok @itsKatharine Quinn. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the comments.